I talk about what I see in nature. Um, the schools, mistaken. I was a teacher for many years. Let's cut the bull. Um, these kids don't give a ass about learning. These kids don't embrace the intellectual pursuits. They spend their time in class fighting, arguing, cussing out the teacher. I've seen in my own city, which I told you guys, they've built schools for the Negroes. They've bent over backwards to have different programs. People come in, and all the kids do is act a fool because they're not supported by the parents. Don't support the kids because the parents don't care about education. The kids don't care about education because in black schools or where there's black people, and Sean, you're a teacher, so I know you know what I'm
Let me
talking
cut you
about.
off.
No,
Please cut him off.
Just real quick.
Well, no, he's listening as a teacher.
All I was doing,
whoa.
I didn't cut off anybody.
He didn't cut off anybody.
I want to correct you real quick because I'm gonna throw some things back at you, Chaotic. But the one thing I've noticed, because I've been listening to you about the last 6 to 8 months, some of it's kind of funny, some of it's true, some of it is just off the rails. But before you answer, let me get it all out, and then I'll shut up. I'll go on mute and let you cook a little bit. My question is, why do you focus solely on the negative pieces of the black community? Second, wait, okay. I'm gonna let you cook. I promise, I'm gonna let you cook it. I'm gonna let you cook it.
Okay.
Secondly, only we're talking 80% of black folks are not in poverty. I'm just gonna touch on a few of the things that you said.
I never said that blacks were in poverty.
It's 19.5%.
I never said anything about poverty.
When you talk about the shooting in the hood, that we're talking about people in low income areas. But we're only talking about 19.5% of blacks. So a third point, I'm gonna let you cook. I promise. I'm gonna sit back and listen to you. The third thing I want to touch on is kind of what Marcus said and what Miss Taken said. I was one of those dudes that single parent. I used sports as a vehicle to A, see the world, B, get into college. I'm now in a STEM field, and I'm not doing too bad. I have taken the money back to the hood because that's where I'm at. Do my kids go to school here? No, I'm not an idiot. But I do pour my resources back into this community. So when I say my kids don't go there, now he has a leg up. He's actually about to go to ECU into their architecture program. So we went and made decisions intentionally so that they have the opportunities that I didn't have because I had to use sports. He doesn't. But the last thing I want to say, we have to figure out how to get that single parent rate down from 44%. That's ridiculously high. And I believe that's where most of the problem lies. That's where most of the problem lies, in my opinion.
May I ask you
a
question?
The reason why we can talk about that all night and talk about it for 9, 10, 12, 2 years. Who knows? I haven't been around that long on YouTube. But I'm gonna let Chaotic cook it up because I threw a lot at him.
No.
And I'm gonna give you the space to talk there. But I just want to throw all of that out there.
I salute you on your being in the STEMs. That's number 4. I never ever said that anything mentioned about shootings or poverty. I've always said that African Americans were the wealthiest blacks on the planet, the most popular. I've always said that. I've always said that African Americans were the blacks to admire on the planet, actually. But number one, you said, why do I always talk about the negative? Sir, the black community is primarily negative. We have a victim culture. Every time you're around blacks, they could be professional blacks. Man, it's hard out here, man. I'm like, what are you talking about? Man, it's police shootings out here. That's what Marcus just said. Generally, police shoot criminals. As far as I know, they not shoot. Knock on wood. You never. How come they're not shooting Neil deGrasse Tyson? How come they're not shooting Macy Jameson? How come they're not shooting S. James Gates? How come they're not shooting Ben Carson? You know why? Because criminals typically get shot. Dope fiends get shot, whether they're black or white. If you look at statistics, more whites are shot and killed by the police. If you look at statistics, blacks really don't get shot and killed by the police, even when they do crimes. I worked in law enforcement. I was a probation officer, for God's sakes. I had people on my caseload who had literally shootouts with the police, standoffs, and the police didn't kill them. So and I love this. They always kill black people. No, they don't, because how do you have black people in jail who are murderers? If they always kill black people, you wouldn't have black people getting caught who are killers. So the fact of the matter is that I talk about what I see in nature. The schools, mistaken. I was a teacher for many years. Let's cut the bull. These kids don't give a ass about learning. These kids don't embrace the intellectual pursuits. They spend their time in class fighting, arguing, cussing out the teacher. I've seen in my own city, which I told you guys, they've built schools for the Negroes. They've bent over backwards to have different programs. People come in and all the kids do is act a fool because they're not supported by the parents. Don't support the kids because the parents don't care about education. The kids don't care about education because in black schools or where there's black people, and Sean, you're a teacher, so I know you know what I'm
Let me cut you off.
Please cut him off.
Just real quick.
Well, no, he's listening as a teacher.
Whoa.
I didn't cut off anybody.
He didn't cut off anybody.
I want to correct you real quick.
I did not cut off anybody.
Care about.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. We're gonna keep order.
I did not cut off
then
anybody.
you can go.
I sat there and listened to Marcus.
Go ahead.
You're right.
All I'm saying is, and Shan's a teacher, I've seen white, even liberal white teachers bend over backwards to help black kids. Mistaken. You said something very interesting about culture. I'm going to tell you a horrific story. When I was in college, I dated, not at the same time, I dated 2 girls from Rwanda. Do you know what one girl told me? She said she witnessed her entire family massacred because her neighbors had her hid in the next house over while the Hutu exterminated people in her neighborhood, exterminated them, her culture, her livelihood. You know what she's doing now? She's a medical doctor. The other girl fled the country before her family. The other girl fled the country. They were all both Tutsi. Their culture was destroyed. Their livelihood was destroyed. Came over here. They were better students. The fact of the matter is that we give too many excuses. Mistaken, culture or not.
That's not true. If she was born, depending on how old she
I would love. Listen, all I ever do is go on mute. Wait a minute.
So what he's saying, but I'm backing up chaotic here. But mistaken, we had this conversation every day.
We do. No, I agree with no. I agree with him in regards to the fact that the kids' mindset in schooling is not where it needs to be. But the other factor of that, working from, like I said, low income schools and having family who went to private schools, the education system are totally different. Very much so. In the private schools, they're not learning the kind of stuff that we're learning here. The structure of the way the school system is set up in terms of the curriculum that they're learning, the way that they learn is totally different than the mass education that we have here. That's why let
me have this for a second, because we're talking about one system, because we work in a very multiracial system. A system with, I had a black son who did very well in this, in this system. So you're saying that in our community, they're getting a different education than the other kids?
What I'm saying is, depending on the area that you live in, there is a vast difference in the way the education system is in a low socioeconomic area versus a more affluent area. Hold on.
Because we live in it. Our county is split.
But the schools that we work in, no. The schools that we work in are now, if you look at I could say Brookwood. If you look at Brookwood versus the school that you work at, those are 2 different groups, because the socioeconomic area that are in Brookwood is different from the school that you work at.
Correct.
And so my point is,
but we teach the same stuff. Like, we actually have meetings to teach the same stuff.
But what I'm saying is, even if you go outside of that, Like there's the core curriculum, yes, is the same. In private schools, no, they don't have to teach the same core curriculum. They're learning other things outside of what we have.
We're talking about equal opportunity amongst.
Okay, but what I'm saying is when you're teaching in a low socioeconomic area versus an area that is more affluent, just the baseline of knowledge and understanding that kids come in with is far superior to the kids that we deal with.
So the foundation
is totally
okay. So we can agree with that.
Yes. Shan, you invited me over here, right? Yes. I didn't ask. I was trying to answer Marcus mistaken in AP. Cut off every time. This is the beauty of Black culture here, because you guys are the example. Whites don't cut me off in panels and in real life. Hey, chaotic, you have differing opinions. I'm ready to listen to them. See, it's like heaven being around white people. Now, hear me out for a minute, Shan. Now, here goes mistaken. I don't even know she's a teacher. You got kids who come from you talk about poverty in America? No, poverty is the Caribbean. Poverty is sub-Saharan Africa. That's poverty, where you have no infrastructure. Where you have corrupt, you talk about cops in America are corrupt? No. Imagine Nigeria, where cops will shoot you, really will shoot you, if you don't give them a bribe. I know people look at me like I'm crazy, but those things happen. Imagine, that's absolute poverty. Imagine not having up-to-date textbooks. You think, no, America has up-to-date I taught in these schools. The kids don't value education. That's it. And why don't the parents value education? You know what I see when believe it or not, I don't want you guys to think I was a Jamaican. I worked multiple times. I was a case manager. I go to some house to be a raggedy ass mom. She had got 3 and 4 kids outside of wedlock, different baby fathers. She in there watching all types of TV, ain't taking care of the kids, got pets, and the kids running amok. Why doesn't she sit down and say, you know what, we're going to do biology tonight. We're going to read the dictionary tonight. We're going to do this. What's stopping the moms from doing it? What is stopping the moms from teaching kids basic arithmetic?
Excuse me, can I just ask you a question? Were these single parent homes you were going into, or were these... I'm just curious.
Yes, and what is stopping the ghetto, inner city, single mother who's at the house at the time from not watching TV, not watching some movies, not watching some idiotic Real Housewives of whatever, and sitting down with the kids and teaching the kids something? The mothers know how to read and write. They may not know how to read and write on a Harvard level. But what's stopping them? We make too many excuses as a people. Shan, excuses are tools of incompetence.
That's what I'm hearing right now.
I think there's a difference between an excuse and a reason.
I'm going to go on mute, guys.
Let me just say this. I would agree. There are some people in other countries that even if you live in poverty here, you are living a good life. We can agree with that, right?
Relative, because the mindset in poverty doesn't change no matter where you're at. So our poverty here, yes, it looks more rich than somebody else. But when you look at the mindset of the people that are living in abject poverty in one area, and here it's still the same. The value of education is not there. It's not, because they have other things that take priority over that.
But I think that's what he's saying, though. I think that it's just
right. So he's saying it's not an excuse, but what I'm saying, it is a reason. We have to look at, kind of like what Ali said. Look at some of the historical factors. Look at the causation of things. I'm not saying it's I'm not saying that it's an excuse for why, but you do have to look at the reason so you can make adjustments to change. Right. So if we don't ask those questions of like, well, why are we like this?